Hello, a warning tonight. The scammers have a database of easy targets. Could your name be on it?
Police and trading standards have always known that doorstep criminals sell on names, but this so-called online suckers list is something new. It shows scamming is big business. There are 3,000 names from Essex alone on this database. In a moment, we'll hear from a councillor responsible for trading standards. But first, Kevin Birch has been to meet two people who've lost thousands of pounds in different scams.
This was one of 3 occasions when a courier came calling at this home near Brentwood to collect thousands of pounds in banknotes wrapped up in plastic shopping bags. The couple inside had been conned through phone calls and been out to withdraw the money from 3 accounts. It was needed, they were told, to undergo forensic testing as part of a police investigation into fraud at a bank. But the pair, both in their 70s, who want to remain anonymous, had been scammed.
What are your thoughts about the people who do this?
Absolute scum. They really are the scum of the earth.
The reason this couple was so taken in was because this scam, like so many, was so elaborate. They were made to believe they were working undercover for the police. They were told not to tell anyone anything about what they were doing. They were told they could ring 999 to check the identities of these pretend detectives. But of course, when they did, they weren't talking to the police, they were talking to the criminals.
Why should they live off of our money and all we've got now is our old age pension?
30 miles away, also in Essex, another victim. She's 81 and spent over £3,000 on a mail order scam. She too wants to remain anonymous. Her words are spoken by someone else.
What can you call them? They're just despicable. They're people who don't give a damn about anyone else.
Well, of course, when you open the floodgates, this is what happens. This bag contained just some, of the post which came flooding in over the course of several months. And all of it pretty much was promising riches. This one, a first prize cheque for £46,000.
I thought I was going to get all this money. It was just like someone had dropped sparkle on top of my head and I was the chosen one.
They admit they now feel foolish because they didn't see it coming. But sparing blushes isn't the priority. Sparing other people falling victim is what really matters now. Kevin Birch, BBC Look East, in Essex.
Councillor Roger Walters is responsible for trading standards on Essex County Council. Earlier, I asked him about this so-called suckers list of names that's been discovered.
What they're putting on the list are people who've responded to mailings and have sent money. So then they build up a database who are soft targets to be defrauded or to sell, overpriced cheap products. And they sign up once and then they get them every month forevermore.
How can these people distinguish between whether or not it's a valid thing they're sending off for, that they're purchasing, or it being a fraud?
If it looks too good to be true, it is. But you've got to learn to trust neighbours and family and friends and ask them, what do you think about this? Because these free draws or you've won a prize, people sometimes can't understand that they're a complete fake and they're just sending off money to criminals who are not going to put them into a draw and they'll never win anything.
What can trading standards do to alert people who are on this list or who might be vulnerable in this way?
Well, we are, over time, contacting what we see as the most vulnerable people on that list. Some older people, I think, find this something that's quite stimulating to do, because if you're on your own, you don't see many people. Getting letters, being able to sit down, read them, make a decision as to whether you're going to send off some money for a product or you're going to participate in a draw, it is something to do. They shouldn't feel ashamed they've been taken in, because there are many people who are falling foul to criminals of this type who keep targeting them. Why would any criminal now go and rob a bank or a post office when he can do, fraud crime like this? They're not going to be caught because it's so difficult to trace them.
So what advice would you give people about the signs to look out for, both that they might be being taken in or a member of their family is?
If you think your member of the family is receiving lots of this unsolicited mail, just talk to them about it. Look for signs of them hiding post, because that's often a sign they're getting it, or that they're getting lots of little, parcel deliveries. As far as other types of crime, and it's not just old people get taken in by some of these people, just don't trust any unsolicited phone call.
Councillor Roger Walters, thank you very much.
Councillor Roger Walters is responsible for trading standards on Essex County Council. His team has been working through the names on that scammers database to try and warn them. Earlier I asked him what reaction he'd had.
Some people have been very grateful, and they've been very worried by the amount of mail they've been getting. Others have been responding to it, and it's for some become a little bit of a way of life, because if you're fairly lonely and on your own, getting post in the morning, having to look at it, then they go to the post office, get a postal order, or they write a cheque, go and get some stamps and go and post it. For some it's become something they do with their time.
So some of those people you've contacted, do they remain in denial then, even when you try and point this out to them?
There have been one or two that remain in denial, and we had one older gentleman who said, look, if you stop me doing this and sending off these free draws, you take away my hope.
Why do you think we've seen such a dramatic increase in this type of crime?
Well, if you're a criminal, why would you now need to go and rob a bank or rob a post office when you can send off 5,000 letters to people and just get the money rolling in?
So in some ways it's a safe crime, if you like, but is it a crime that you think that you can crack down on, that you can tackle?
Very often the problem is it goes unnoticed. Unfortunately, we've got an ageing population who some of them are vulnerable and are being taken in by these criminals, and they're getting cleverer and cleverer all the time.
Councillor Roger Walters, thank you very much.
Thank you.